Hello everyone, welcome back. In this episode of Bitcoin Trade, it's going to be a combination of a couple things. It's going to be a news episode, it's going to be a crazy theory episode, a crazy idea episode, and then some. Okay, so try to stay with me on this. All right. Here's the headline: CoinDesk here, industry reactions uh, to New York's bit license proposal. So, and I'm going to try to tie in a lot of my previous episodes to what I've been saying in in this episode. Right, a lot of things are starting to come together, and I hope you all stay with me now. If you read this, of course, a lot of people don't. They seem to not like um, the uh, the bit license, and so I'm going to go into it just a little bit. I've already talked about it, and like I said, none of this bit license applies to me. Okay. Matter of fact, I'm planning to go to New York, and I'm planning to trade in New York without a license at all. Okay, I have no intention of seeking a license. I have really no intention of doing anything other than what I'm doing right now. Um, except I'll do it in New York. It's that simple, and to the residents of New York too. So, anyways, I want to scroll down. I mean, you all can read this and see what's going on. But I want to scroll down to something very particular, and I'm going to talk about that in particular because I've mentioned this in my previous episodes. So hopefully you all can just stay with me on this long enough for you to understand. And I don't know. I mean, hear me out. Just hear me out, and whether you believe or you don't believe, where you think I'm crazy or whatever. Um, Gosh, where is it? I'm trying to find it. Sorry about that. It's a very long art. Okay, here it is. Here it is. All right. So here's the part that I want to address here very specifically, and I think um, this is kind of interesting. It says, will startups now exclude New York customers and otherwise avoid jurisdiction of New York while they get off the ground? And it mentions here that it seems like a lot of people feel that this here in particular, opinion here range from what would be a tragedy to we're already seeing it, okay? And then I don't know if that's Draper. I don't know if that's the father or a son stating this, but says he hopes another state, perhaps Texas or Colorado, might seek to attract business away from New York for more favorable regulatory conditions. And then here as well, Hal say has I don't know, the guy from BitReserve second that, saying Texas as a potential future financial center. Well, now here I'm going to go into some crazy theory, crazy idea, um, and just bear with me, okay? So, in my previous episodes, I mentioned Texas, right? I mentioned Texas many times, mainly because I am in Texas, but right now I'm in California, believe it or not. But um, I mentioned Texas being the first. It had to be the first. I also mentioned in my previous episodes that I'm building a defense shield, right? Um, and if you remember from my episodes, I mentioned about I see a lot of stars, and seeing stars for some reason seems to be really important, and that Texas is considered the lone star state, the lone star state, meaning one star, right? The first star. And so Texas is number one, is what I'm trying to say, in the New World Order, in the New Age. Texas is um, uh, the number one in the New Age of the New World Order. And on top of that, Houston, Houston specifically, will become the new capital of the New Age and the New World Order. Mainly because that's where I live. Okay, so and I've already, I guess, established my defense shield in that state. So and it's already established. Um, so for any business, quote unquote business, not investors per se, but a business um, in the virtual currency business, whatever, uh, you're safe in Texas. You are safe in Texas. I have made a defense shield against the evil emperor, the dark overlord, all right, or the dark emperor, um, and if you wish to take sanctuary in the state of Texas, um, you have it. You got it. You're safe. And so, sounds weird, right? But if you've seen my previous episodes, I've mentioned these things, and Houston will be, and I'm going to claim this. I will say it right now. Houston, I proclaim to be the capital of the new age, of the new world order. Okay, and you're probably wondering why Texas, and then on top of that, why Houston? Well, I mentioned a couple of things. Texas being the Lone Star State, Houston in particular because it's geographical, it's centrally located. Texas is also centrally located, so I find that working in Texas allows me to get the East Coast as well as the West Coast. Um, so, in any case, I'm going to throw some crazy ideas in here, okay? I've mentioned in my previous episodes about the secret war, okay? We are in a secret war. And I mentioned how, I guess, government entities are attacking its own citizens in this secret war. All right. I also mentioned in my previous episodes that the world has turned upside down. Top is bottom, bottom is top. In other words, north is now south, and south is now north. I guess you can say that. And I also mentioned in my episodes many times that we're all being enslaved, right? I've mentioned many times, to be free from slavery, to be free from your enslavement, and I think this is now a great time to talk about some crazy ideas here. Okay, so as I mentioned, it's like the world has gone upside down. So I want to draw some really parallel here to I guess, and I'm going to bring up some stuff here that may cause you to get mixed emotions or get emotional about certain things. And I just want to tell you, relax, calm down, all right? What I'm about to say may disturb you in some ways, but I just want to say I'm trying to make a point here, okay? I want to bring up something in history of America, and that's slavery, right? And a lot of people, including myself, consider the time of Abraham Lincoln, that time and period where people, where slavery ends, where the beginning of the slavery ends. So there's a lot of things I'm going to draw from this here. I just want you to hear me out because this is crazy theory time now. All right. So just listen and just just go with it. And then I want you all to have an open mind. Hear me out and see what I'm saying. Okay. And so I'm going to go back time to the Civil War. Okay, it's interesting that I mentioned that we are in a war right now. We're in a secret war. Now I'm going to talk about the Civil War. All right, and I'm going to bring a lot of parallels to Abraham Lincoln, who, by the way, is I guess from Chicago, right? As a matter of fact, I wondered about that. I was like, isn't Abraham Lincoln from like Chicago area kind of place, or not Chicago, Illinois, I'm sorry, Illinois. When I think of Chicago, I think of Illinois, or when I think of Illinois, I think of Chicago. But anyways, here's I looked it up and I said, I could, if I remember my history right, I think he was from Illinois, and it clearly states here, and thank God for internet, the power of information, that he did serve let me see, he didn't serve time. It's not like he was a criminal. He served as a representative in Illinois. I think it says somewhere around here. Let me see. Well, anyways, it does. And also, interestingly enough, if you look here, not only did Mr. Lincoln serve in the government of Illinois, let me see, where is it? He was also apparently in the militia as well. So, and I mentioned a lot of stuff about that as well, especially about bearing arms. Now, the reason why I bring Mr. Abraham Lincoln up is, well, isn't somebody from Chicago right now? Chicago, Illinois? Or from at least Illinois that's in the White House right now? Isn't that kind of weird? And the timing of that, and the timing of when Bitcoins come around. Now I'm not saying President Barack Obama created Bitcoins. Okay, I'm not saying that. Okay, I'm not inferring that. I'm just drawing some parallel conclusions to some history and what's happening right now. Now, is that coincidence? Is that freaky? Is that weird? And I think President Obama actually mentions Abraham Lincoln as someone he admired during his campaign. So isn't that kind of even more weirder, more stranger? Anyways, weird, right? Crazy theory time again. So, anyways, I want to draw that conclusion, and then I want to bring up North versus South back in Abraham Lincoln days, okay? And it's kind of weird how things work out. So I'm gonna bring up a lot of stuff, and you may get a mixed emotions, but just stay with me, okay? I'm just trying to look at it as non-objectively, and just look at this whole thing. Just pull back a little, and like when I do my chart analysis, you look at the 5-minute charts. It's crazy. A lot of things are happening, but when you pull back to the daily, to 12, to the months, and you see the history of the chart analysis of a Bitcoin, right? You start seeing a bigger picture. Well, I'm doing something similar. I'm just pulling back and try to see a bigger picture here. And so, the North were, I guess, considered the liberators. They freed the slaves, right? Now, and the South were the slave masters, right? They were enslaving people. Well, we all know how this all turned out, right? The South lost. And it's kind of ironic now. If you see it today, and I mentioned the world has turned upside down, the world has flipped over. Now, the North are the slave masters. They're the ones enslaving everyone. And the South are the liberators. They're the freedom fighters. They're liberating the slaves. Now, I'm not trying to get all racial or nothing, all right? But you don't have to be of any race to be a slave now. In today's time, you could be anybody, and you could be a slave, and not know it. Think about that. So, and I'm gonna bring something up now. Now, I'm not trying to get racial or nothing, but I've heard many times this saying, the South will rise again. And I'm not saying, the South will start enslaving people, but if you just hear me out now, the South will rise again. Well, the South is rising. Okay, the South is now the liberators, and the North are the slave masters. Isn't that kind of weird? Now, if you look at the history, you know the South lost. Well, this is now the time where the South, all right, they paid their debt, and now it's time to redeem themselves. And the North has lost their position. And now I'm going to bring up something else here. So let me just go back here now. Now this is Abraham Lincoln times. Now I'm trying to draw some parallels here, and you just try to hear me out. Now if this sounds too crazy, and I'm just full of it. That's all right. You don't have to believe, but just hear me out. The North, New York in particular, has fallen, and it's been falling. Now I'm gonna mention something, so don't take it the wrong way or anything. But it's been, I would say, New York has been falling since 9/11, since the World Trade Centers collapsed. And don't take it weird or anything, okay? I'm just trying to draw some parallels to history on what's going on. And so, and I think since then, that was the sign that New York is falling. New York City in particular. And why would that be? Because they are the slave masters. They are trying to enslave everyone. And since then, it's been falling, and it will continue to fall. And that's just how I'm seeing things. Okay, I'm not trying to get all weird. I'm not trying to get all, whatever. I'm just looking at it. And I'm saying, when you're blind, you can't see this, right? But when you take your blinds off, you start to see everything for what it is. And so, so my point is, the world has flipped over. The North is now the slave masters. The South are the slave liberators. They're the freedom fighters. They're fighting for your freedom, everyone's freedom. Okay, and so that's really crazy, isn't it? Isn't that a crazy idea? I don't know what to say. But I can only say that all these things happen for a reason. They just things just don't if you think life is nothing but a chance, that's fine. But I don't think so. Um, I don't think things just happen by chance. To some degree, I think it's planned, almost predetermined, and I can't ignore what's going on in front of me. So, anyways, um, Texas is now the new place. Um, will be the center of the new world order, and literally it is in the center, right? If you look at the globe, where exactly is Texas? It's actually really right in the middle of North America. Little, not quite in the middle, but again, it's in the middle. Is my point. Centrally located, um, and Houston will become the capital, the new capital of the New Age and the New World Order. It's no longer New York. It's no longer London. All right. Um, you all had your chance. You all failed, and now it's time. Um, Now it's time for somebody else, or someplace else. Now, I'm not saying Houston will be the only capital of the New World Order. I believe there'll be one of them, and I think there'll be a few others as time goes on. They'll start to spring up. I don't know where the other one is, but I know Texas had to be first because it is the Lone Star State, meaning one star, the first star. Now, I mentioned in my videos about that, about seeing stars. I don't know what to say. Am I crazy? I don't know. I don't know. You tell me. Y'all seen my videos. Um, in my name, I bear witness. That'll be my testimony. Um, what can I say? So, anyways, for those of you who want to come down to Houston, and I recommend Houston, mainly because I've established my defense shield from Houston, which covers all of Texas. And so, you're more than welcome. You are safe here uh, in the great state of Texas. I know it. All right. And I'm going to make that claim. I'm going to proclaim it right now. And so, this is amazing. This is really, really amazing. Like, you can't make this stuff up. Can you? Anyways, I think I think I talked long enough here. Um, you know, uh, Everything seems to be slowly but surely coming together. I bet this kind of blows your mind. Maybe for some of you, maybe not. Maybe some of you are saying this is a good. The guy tells a good lie. Well, I'm not lying about anything, am I? What I've said was kind of. Don't you think that there's something going on here beyond chance? Uh, Look at Abraham Lincoln from Illinois. We got a sitting president from Illinois. During that time, the sitting president from Illinois, Barack Obama, during that time, his tenure in office, guess what comes around? Bitcoins come into existence around that time frame, and has been going on in existence during his tenure in the White House. Is that weird? Is that strange? Um, we're in a battle. We're in a secret war right now. I mentioned that. You draw conclusions or some history lessons. A civil war did happen. It was real. All right. And I mentioned about being enslaved. Well, the Civil War was the beginning of the emancipation. and I mentioned the world has turned upside down. The North are now the slave masters, and the South are the slave liberators. Isn't that kind of weird? Is that weird for me to say? Yes, it is. It is very strange. It's very weird. But I said it. Crazy theory time. Crazy idea time. Here it is. Anyways, I want to conclude this episode. Here's the article. I would highly recommend people to read it. It sounds good. Oh yeah, I forgot to mention a little, and I think this is, excuse me. I thought this was very funny. I'm gonna, on a lighter note here. I really enjoy what Miss Perry Ann Boring her efforts are doing, and what she's, trying to do. I admire that a lot. I hope to one day eventually meet her in person, in the physical world. I feel like I've gotten to know her through the interviews and what I've read. But I thought this was very funny. Boring said the current proposals risk cutting New Yorkers out of a crucial aspect of the digital economy, creating what she called a kind of Siberia, which could even injure New York's standing as the world's financial capital. I'm a sucker for these puns and jokes and everything, so I thought that was very funny. Very good, Miss Boring. Anyways, here it is. Here's the article. Here's the writer, the author, comes from CoinDesk. And Susan came out, and I was like, wow, this is amazing. I've got to talk about it, because this is going to be the point where the tide is going to turn. And I want you all to be prepared, because I talk a lot, and I spoke about bearing arms, raising your army, getting ready to battle. The Empire Strikes Back, Star Wars. So, I don't know what to say. Is this happening because what? Because I think it? Is this all in my head? I don't know. I don't know anymore. I can't tell the difference between my virtual reality and reality. Is this really happening? Is this for real? Well, I guess it is. And if you noticed, I mentioned, well, I'll save all this other stuff for next episode, and I'm gonna give you a little teaser for the next episode. I'm gonna talk about the Underground Railroad. Again, something from Abraham Lincoln time. I'm going to talk about the Underground Railroad and how that concept is going to also be used today, in today's time. Right? Instead of south to north, because the world has gone upside down, it's going to be the Underground Railroad from north to south. So anyways, feel free to like, dislike, leave a comment. Also, do a video response. Till next time, stay tuned. Bye.